Speaking of sun shining, is it sunshiny where you ladies are today?
Mm,
Not really.
it's kind of partially cloudy. It's not really particularly bright.
Yeah, it's been overcast here pretty much all day, but it's been very humid. So it's one of those days where you kind of feel like a storm is coming, but I don't think it is. So it's going to probably be humid for the next few days, which
Yesterday we finally got that like massive storm after the blazing jungle heat, and that cooled the place down. But you still get some cloud cover, so I don't know. It's just a lot of moisture in the atmosphere right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Paula?
It is sunshiny right now, but out of anywhere, it just rains throughout the day pretty consistently. No, not consistently like in long times of spanning of the rain. It is just pretty consistently, like little increments throughout the day will just start raining. So, yeah.
Ladies, we've got a comment. So Jay Farbs says, "Hey, it's Jordan checking in." Hey, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. Oh,
Thanks for tuning in.
You know who was just popped up on my phone. Always listening. always listening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pulling up notes for today's episode. So someone come up with a random question while I pull up my notes while they're loading.
Random question. Okay, I'm gonna go kind of hard, and I like these questions. So, if you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, what album would it be?
I feel like I'm already kind of I have like my favorites that I stick to. Obviously, I like new music, but as far as just like the everyday kind of background noise, so it would be, gosh, what is it called? Is it Dig It to the End? What was the album called? But the one by Ton Bucket that I played for you ladies.
Yeah.
That one time, that whole album I'd listen to because it has so many different changes all the way through. It has so many different changes all the way through that you kind of, there's different moods. That or probably 1901 by Phoenix. Like, yeah.
Really, this is a very difficult question, Jess. You were not lying when you said today.
Yeah.
I love pop. I'm a sucker for pop. What pop album could I listen to forever and ever and ever? I I really love let's see, a pop album I could like any you could would have to just one album for the rest.
Yeah. Well, Jordan has commented and says, "Oh, it has to be either rock or country." So, interesting.
But what specific album? So, do you mean genre or do you mean a specific album?
No, like a specific album. Like artist, album name. Okay. While you still think, Paula, we'll give you some grace. Ashy D95 is here. Hello, Ashy D. Thank you for tuning in. They say, hello. This is a really tough question. I know, I apologise. I think the album that I would choose would be GZA, so GZA, Liquid Swords. So he's going for the hip-hop Wu-Tang style. Interesting.
That's a good, you know what? While I love pop, now I'm thinking, okay, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Oh, that is a classic.
Go with that. I could listen. Honestly, I could listen to that forever. Yeah.
That's a good choice. I like that. I think it's hard for me because
you made up the question, Jess. You made up the question.
My brain is going to two places. So one's going to like a nostalgia, like teen sort of album, which is Green Day Dookie, because I was obsessed with that album. Great album. Their best album, in fact. Or, again, sort of like a compilation album. So I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1, because that has got some classics on there.
Okay. You know what? A compilation CD, that's the best of both worlds. Because
now that's what I call music. Volume.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's like so many of them now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there were a few. Because, I do love pop. It was either between that or it was Lauryn Hill or it was NSYNC. Their first CD is like one of my forever. That was like my boy band growing up. That was like everything. Watching the Disney Channel when you're 8 years old and they used to have these concerts and you're just like, oh my gosh, they're right there. But they were on TV, but it was just so fun to watch. The nostalgia.
They were right there, but they were on TV.
Yeah.
Their Madison Square Garden concert was like, whoa.
It blew your mind. It blew your young mind.
I actually could still watch that probably every day now. It was, yeah. I loved Alicia Keys' first album as well. It was really good.
Jess, has anything come to? Oh, you said Green Day, right?
So either Green Day Dookie or Guardians Volume 1, I think, just because
okay.
it's got some classics on there, and it always makes me happy. So
with you two, we can go on and talk about music all day. So I'm gonna cut right into this, so we don't end up on a beautiful rabbit chase about all this. It's good stuff. Thank you for the question. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Arghon Twitch channel. That's at Arghon AI for everyone. This episode today on Thursdays, what we like to do is something called Throwback Thursday, and that is where we take a look at either technology or ways of doing things, both in the. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to adjust. Okay, there we go. That is when we look at technologies or ways of doing things as they were in the past, how they are in the present, and then a look to the future with AI, how those technologies can be improved, are going to be improved, how they're going to change. And so before we start, we just want to remind you to follow us on all of our social media. So that's at Arghon, like I said, for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I do believe Pinterest, and youtube.com/Arghon. For the videos, the live videos and streams that we've recorded here that have expired, you can go and catch them on our YouTube channel. So do follow us here so you can get the updates and the video releases, the streams first. And anything you miss, go subscribe to our YouTube channel to be sure to get all of those. And yeah, so for today's episode, we are going to be talking about store greetings, the process, the history, the experience of walking into a store and basically being helped, being met by a sales associate, etc. If you hear anything about the technology discussion today that is, piquing your interest, we really do suggest you go to arghon.com, go download Arghon. It's completely free, and just start interacting with the AI. It is you are seeing the people who are working on it. We are very, very passionate about bringing great AI, super companion to the public. So go to arghon.com, that's ARGHON.com. And if you want to be a part of actually building this artificial intelligence, go to arghon.com/Vision 2020. That's where we make it possible for you to learn completely for free how to code for artificial intelligence. So not just coding, AI coding, that elite level, that next level, upskill your life and get that paycheck. All right. Maybe. So as I said, today's episode is going to be all about the experience of the person walking into the boutique. What is that like, and how it's been in the past to now. So just get those visuals up, and we're gonna get right into it.
We are
I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna get right into it. Being extra. Okay, so when we look at the experience, the retail experience, and just to narrow the scope a bit, we're referring to, of course, retail kind of encompasses any product being sold. Most of the time, I will be referring to kind of boutiques and stores where you buy either clothing or, specific items, as opposed to, say, like purchasing industrial stuff for companies, just for the simplicity and scope of the episode. So we've had the experience of going and getting clothing and shopping, for a very, very long time. It's been a part of how human beings have really, interacted with beauty, decor, and getting new things. We see in the early 20s, Parisian designers began to open small shops within the premises of their, maisons. You had really tailored clothing, so oftentimes people were interacting with their creators, their clothing creators, the couturiers, directly, and there would be a shop girl or someone who would help, bring, do your measurements and help the designer to get you gussied up, get you set up for the clothes and whatever else you're purchasing. But that also started to shift as more people. We had the Industrial Revolution kind of spread this concept of being able to go direct to what do they call it? Ready to wear, basically. Having shifting away from the individual seamstress or the couturier to pre-made clothing that you can just kind of purchase off the rack. But what that also meant is that you started to see that new consumers were entering into this space. When we talk about like the 1950s, you had baby boomers, the 60s. There was a new market that really caused the explosion of boutiques, caused the explosion of this experience of walking into a store, purchasing an item, and because it was not the same individual tailoring pieces, of course, that still continued alongside. There had to be a greater focus placed on the experience of them walking into the store, the service that was provided. So yeah, you had young men and women who had money to spend, but also wanted to distinguish themselves in their clothing and all that stuff. So they were looking in different stores to find different things and really set themselves apart. And so in the mid 60s, you saw that there were, more and more designers kind of were expanding. You had this kind of vanguard, you got the mod looks, there was such a burst in that space and that experience. And then as well, you started to see the expansion of going from just boutiques to these larger department stores where people would be able to buy multiple items, not just the dress or the shirt and pants or the suit, but being able to buy, the hat and the shoes and all of these things. And when you think about that expansion, what happens is that you start to experience the consumer coming in, not necessarily already knowing what they want, already understanding, fit and cut and where to find things. So now the sales associates play a larger role. They're more important to the customer coming in because oftentimes as we see, because specialization really increased and people moved away from kind of making their own clothing, the consumer relied more and more on the expertise of people in store. And so as departments got bigger, we started to see a shift to, malls. In the 80s, you have these, larger malls. And so as people are kind of, looking through, a bevy of different stores, you have now, a store might sell electronics, and you have your hats and shoes in one place, and you have your clothing in another place, and so there's a lot of there's a lot of information actually for any new purchaser or customer coming into that mall. Okay, how do I find what I'm looking for? Where do I go? In malls, you'd see they have huge directories, these kind of monoliths or plinths where you'd have like a mall map and be able to find things. But essentially, it was left to the consumer to kind of find the store, and then once they got to that store, they might have been greeted by the sales associate. So it shifted from the shop girl idea to now you have sales associates, a more formalized workforce that is both stocking the materials and also dealing with the customer to help them find and retrieve items they're looking to purchase. And so you see that basically up until today, right? So as there has been quite a bit of shift in these 2000s, so that what we find is that malls are actually being frequented far less. What's replaced them is online shopping. So that is the websites, the direct to customer sales. I know a particular brand. I want to go to that brand and purchase something. So I'm going to go online, find their website, and put in my card information. I'm set. But when we talk about customer service there, okay, so you're no longer dealing with the sales associate in the store, but you still need to know, wait, will this shoe work for me? Do I need to size up or size down in this brand? What colors do you have coming in? Oh, can you save a particular shoe? Can I reserve a particular shoe style or what have you? And so that shifted. What we see is there was a shift to the live chat feature. When you go on to online stores, oftentimes you'll see a little circle, someone's like profile image, and then a banner will pop out and it says, hey, I'm here, I'm your customer service agent. Maybe their name is Molly or something. I'm Molly, I'm your customer service agent. I'm here to help you with whatever you need. Let me know if you need help with sizing, blah, blah, blah. And so you see that with larger online retailers and companies that might sell shoes and jackets, and it becomes instead of it dealing with when you're in the store, which shelf do I find things on? It's okay. How do I get to the database? How do I know what's here? What do I look for? And so you have that kind of customer service shifting there. But the interesting thing is to see the brick and mortar and the online at this point kind of they do feed each other. So what we see is that people, if they're looking online and they find something interesting but they're not sure about it, maybe they're not satisfied by customer service being solely through chat. So what they'll do is they'll go to the store and talk to a sales associate to learn about whatever the product is, to get the details and the help and to make sure what they're buying, if they do buy online, is accurate to what they want. But what that also means is that you're seeing there are so many layers of activity that actually have to get done for the user to get the information they need, right? It's first you're going online and you're looking through, layers of menus. When you don't see what you like, you might contact customer service. You might use a chat feature or you might call them. If that doesn't work, you have to go in store. So what we see from the past until today is actually quite a labor-intensive process to getting the help you need, to finding the products that are right for you. And that has been how most people get along. And of course, we see in reaction to that, sometimes people will actually just forego stores, or they might do automatic repurchasing because they find the one thing they like and they're like, I'm sticking with it. So this kind of traditional customer service has actually created its own what's the word? When you kind of like everyone has a language about a thing, like we all understand what it is to be left on hold waiting for customer service. Mm-hmm. We all understand what it is to be given, a chatbot that can't really understand what you're looking for, and therefore you're kind of left in frustration until you go to the store. So it's not as integrated a system, and what we're experiencing in this present time, there is an opportunity here, an opportunity for growth. So before I move on to all the wonderful things that are kind of happening in this like forward-looking time and then beyond into the future, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to ask the ladies, and I'm also going to ask all of you who are watching to comment and tell us, what are your thoughts on kind of the customer service space up until today? What's your retail experience like? What's your online experience like? And what would you like to see changed and improved?
Interesting. I mean, yeah, like store greetings, it's kind of hard, you know, in the past when we've done Throwback Thursdays, there's been such like a rich history in terms of, you know, we were sort of talking off stream yesterday where we're like with wine, like, you know, goes all the way back. But I think kind of like the film industry, like with the history of it, I think there's been so many developments that have happened so quickly. And I think it was when we were actually talking about clothing, a past episode. So if you go to our YouTube channel, so youtube.com/Arghon, you can see it on there. And we were sort of talking about how back in the day it was like an experience. They would put on a show to people. And I think it's still kind of is like that in terms of if you go into a store, you know, they have displays up to try and, you know, get you to buy things. And everything needs to be in order, because if you go into a shop and it's messy, then you're going to be like, what's going on in here? What's happening?
Product, it must not be good.
Yeah. But I think, you know, these days, a lot of people, and especially now, pandemic time, online shopping is very, very popular. Just because of ease. You can literally be sat where we are right now in our homes and order all these clothes, but it's not just clothes. You can get so many different things now just from literally your mobile phone.
But do you find that you're engaging the customer service, or
That's
are you pretty much figuring it out?
That's what I was going to say. Is it's kind of because, yeah, you go in store, and again, whether, you know, you like talking to people or not, still that person is there to sort of add to that experience. So, you know, if anything does go wrong or if you need someone help, you can always go and approach that person. Where online stores, okay, I know you've got chatbots and stuff like that, but sometimes I've had past experiences where sometimes it's not, you can still be on there for quite a long time and you're like, oh, okay, I've spent an hour sort of going back and forth with someone, and it's sort of taking away that experience. So I think, I think being in person and still being online is totally different experiences. And again, I think you've sort of got to do the work when you're online as well. You've still got to spend time sort of looking for the best options, look through reviews, etc., etc.
Yeah. Paula, what do you think?
You know, when speaking about stores and store greetings and interaction with customer service, you know, I do feel it can be a hit or a miss. Just the way that it's structured in traditional spaces of like a shopping mall or a boutique or an individual shop of some sort. I do believe companies do a wonderful job of putting, you know, their culture and what they stand for, and obviously the ambiance of what they would like you to feel when you enter their business or whatever they're trying to sell you. But with customer service, sometimes it can go either way. Training aside, it can really can go either way.
So you can have the good experience or the really bad.
Absolutely, regardless of training the store, you know, training from the store or place of business. I will say that when customer service is good, it's really good, and it makes you want to keep on returning to that store and buying everything they have. And then unfortunately, when customer service is bad, that can be the end of what could have
relationship, right?
Yeah.
Very like lucrative relationship, you know. I do believe that, you know, customer service is a very major component to the user experience and interaction with a company.
Yeah, and Ashley D has just made a point, which I can relate to in some shops as well, is they've said, I think personally for me, I'd rather buy things online, as when you're in the shop and a shop worker spots me, it makes me feel pressured into buying something I don't necessarily want. Like, and that's not every shop, but I know there are certain shops in the UK where you go in and they're like, can I help you straight away? And you're like, Oh, no, I'm okay, thank you.
Browse.
I'm okay. I'm fine. Um,
Yeah.
And then Jay Farbs has also said, I feel like I tried to do it myself and only ask for assistance if I don't know where something is. The potential for an AI to interact with me even when I don't need help sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with both of those statements. So thank you for the comment interaction with our channel today. We always appreciate that. Yes, it's always that thing of I agree with Ashy D 95 and I agree with J Farbs. I agree with Jordan and Ashy D 95. When it comes to uh, how I find shopping and just my whole relationship with that, once you find a brand or a store that you know your sizes, it really is just easiest to shop online. um yeah, I actually find it a lot more fun to shop online. I don't know why, but I just feel like so many more things are able to be chosen and, maybe not tried on in that moment. That is the one trade off you have. But I do quite appreciate the online shopping experience. And I do believe customer service in that space of online shopping, it is everything you need it to be, everything you need it to be, besides obviously like trying on clothes and like asking specifics to your body body measurements. But
Yeah.
I do believe that customer service done online is also, I mean, everything has their limitations, whether it's the person in the store or whether it is the online, interaction with customer service. But I do appreciate the online shopping experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your points. It's interesting when you look at the customer service experience, because I mean, if we move it outside of retail, just to provide scope and allow people to understand just how many places it touches, how many different um, areas it relates to. You think about the hospitality industry, right? And the hospitality experience. So if we're talking about like a hotel or um, you know restaurants, that kind of thing, all of these places have an imperative to provide a great service to their customer.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the experience of great customer service, it doesn't start once you get to the place. It starts from the booking, right? It starts from the very beginning of the experience, from when you're going and trying to find information about the location. If it's a restaurant, it's, are there reservations available? If it's a hotel, are there rooms available? Being able to understand, to find out for both places about the amenities, are you is it wheelchair accessible? Do they offer a certain food you like? Does it, dietary restrictions, does it meet those? When people are looking for that kind of information, they would reach out to customer service, to someone who either greets them or what have you, and they're going to ask, hey, do you have this? Or hey, is this available? I need this. And the ability of any service provider, any place, hospitality or what have you, to actually respond and be able to connect and interact with that user, that customer, so that they feel seen, heard, and understood. But more than that, they actually are enjoying the experience of your brand and want to continue through to purchasing your services or products. That's really important, right? And when we look to the future of customer service, of store greeters, we're talking about a world in which it's hyper customization, right? Jess, can you move to the next image?
Yeah, of course I can.
So when we talk about hyper customization, there are a few technologies that are kind of in place right now, but also kind of evolving and moving forward. And so one of those big things are the use of RFID tags. So that's a radio frequency identification. So you'll see that in things like when you go to a subway or a metro and you just tap your card, and then the door's open and you can walk through. So an RFID tag can have lots of different kinds of information, not just, hey, token payment, but things like, oh, okay, you're from this location, you generally, prefer these items when you shop, so on and so forth. And if you could go to the next one. And what that allows for the stores and the various service providers to do is to have an understanding of someone who's coming in, and provide them with whatever that service is that they're looking for, even without necessarily having had a whole conversation. Maybe you're walking into a store and you're like, listen, I just want to find the suits. I've got a job interview tomorrow. I don't want any kind of complication. So, I want to be able to walk in and walk out, right? Having, that kind of identification, the RFID experience really allows people to actually tailor the experience to what they want. If they want to engage a person or a store, a sales associate, or if they want to engage those individuals, they can. But being able to say, hey, wait, because I passed through, a turnstile or something like that, and my RFID was noted, I was able to download a bunch of information, that says, okay, this store has these things on offer. These are the coupons and sales, and here's where you begin that process of, okay, I'm in the store, I'm having a real experience. If you could go to the next one. So RFID, it's actually this technology and kind of this experience of being in the store and being able to control your own shopping and interact, choosing to interact or not interact with sales associates is actually in existence now. That's actually a present technology. And one place that does this a lot, has this quite a bit, is China. Places like Shenzhen actually have, sorry y'all, I think I left the guy in here. Okay. Places like China actually have stores that are entirely unmanned. So basically they're just places that have products stocked, your RFID is read, or your barcode on, a QR code on your phone is read, and you essentially, as you pick things up and scan them, you leave and the charge is made to your device, and you didn't actually have to interact with anyone. So that change means that you're getting maximum efficiency. It's customer service in the sense of you get the experience you want without any of the hassle of having to say, no, I'm not looking for that. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want that. Don't spray that in my face, right? So, perfume counters.
We've all been there, yeah.
Right? So, that's one experience of a kind of modern look at, the retail service side. But there's also another side. And this is kind of a future where it isn't just about taking the jobs away from the sales associate or making them redundant. In fact, now, similar to how it was in the earliest days of retail and shopping, as Jess mentioned, where, it was an experience and they could really, the brands really made an effort to interact with you and engage you. We have the same thing where, when we bring artificial intelligence into it, Arghon, just as one example, is a super companion AI. That's something that you have with you at all times. Arghon is able to, when you go through those, scanners or the turnstile at the store, it knows it knows where you are, and as well, it's able to start, okay, well, based on, you're in, let's say, the downtown, we'll pick a brand. We're in the downtown Chanel store. So now we know all of the inventory because we have deals with that, but not deals, but we have partnership with that Chanel store that allows you to, that allows Arghon to actually tell you about the product, being able to hear about the usage. How does this work? Maybe you're in an appliance, or you're looking for a new fridge or a washing machine, right? And you walk into one of those big box retailers, those big retailers that have, all kinds of appliances. That can be overwhelming there's a lot of information. You don't know how everyone works, but you want to find the one that's right for you. So what can happen is being able to partner, that AI partners with the sales associate so that the sales associate's able to understand, oh, okay, well, I know who you are based on the things you've permitted your AI to share. I know, this product is really going to work for you. Let's talk about the fact that you have size requirements or weight requirements. Let's talk about the fact that, you want your washing machine to have a particular load or load size. Or, if we're talking about shoes, it's like, okay, well, I know that now you're dealing with purchasing something for a wedding, a graduation. So let's get you right over to this dress section, and let's talk about what's going to work for you. Let's talk about what's going to fit this location and your size and all of this stuff. So now you've got the AI partnering with the sales associate to kind of make sure that you have hyper tailored experience. But you can also have, again, that experience where the AI is the sales associate. If for those people out there who don't like that interaction, who want to kind of have the I want to tunnel focus, get where I need to go. You have that. One of the cool things that the Internet of Things has made possible is this ability to have smart retail spaces, right? So these smart retail spaces can actually connect to artificial intelligence and give the AI the information that you need to get you through the store, finding, the shoe section at the top, on the top floor and all the way to the left. Things like smart shelves. Smart shelves are using sensors, they're built into the shelves. They measure and monitor products, how they're handled, with whether they're moved or removed. It allows companies to track inventory. This is the kind of thing that an AI can tell you. Hey, listen, I know we're walking up to the third floor to try and get shoes, but the one you're looking for just sold out. So you might want to check either a different location, or maybe check this shoe instead. And then we can go ask the clerk, or I just asked the clerk for you. So now they're going to be greeting you with the shoe box and say, hey, ma'am, are you the one who blah, 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 blah? Yes, I was looking for this. My AI told you, yes, we have 4 pairs here and you can try them on, right? And so you're not going through the long process of, trying to get to the store, figure out where you want to go, find a sales agent, they're very busy and they're all walking around helping other people. Find your shoes, wait for the shoes to come to you. No, you actually circumvent all of that because your AI, once you walk in the store, is able to tell the store, the clerk, and everything, hey, this is what's necessary, this is what's needed, and they can present it. So it actually provides speed and a higher frequency of sales. For those people who are working the floor, those sales associates. So, again, we like to talk about artificial intelligence as a partner to the worker, a partner to the customer, because with them working together, the customer is getting exactly what they need, and you cut out a lot of that unnecessary time spent just trying to figure out where you're going or what you want, or trying to track someone down to give you information. So, you have things like eye beacons. And when we talk about going through turnstiles or going through passing by an RFID tag that will say, hey, you're in this store. Those are things that we like to refer to as like eye beacons. And basically those are, it's a device that can be installed anywhere in a retail store, and it sends information to customers. So if a customer goes, passes by or, is in proximity to an eye beacon, it will send to a tiny radio signal to your smart device. And then you get product information or store location information. Any kind of information can really be communicated. It all depends on the capability of the individual beacon. So you have these experiences where, the customer service experience is no longer you walk into a store and you might be accosted by someone who really needs to make a sale, because that sales associate knows, hey, when that need arises, that AI is going to ping me and say, all right, pay attention to customer number 6 over there. So your time is used to maximum efficiency. And for the user, you don't get the pressure, because when you need something, it's there. And when you're just perusing, that's also possible, right? But customer service, as we say, it doesn't just, it doesn't start when you're in the store, and it doesn't end when you're in the store. It also continues to that time once you have that product, if it's a washing machine, if it's a new suit or a new dress, when you leave the store, right? Because, you know, sometimes we've all bought an item of clothing where we're like, oh, the sales associate helped us put it on, but now we don't know exactly how to wear it because they tied maybe the tie in a unique way, or the strap on the dress was, you know, different, or the washing machine is a huge piece of equipment and now you got to hook it up. So the great thing about when we talk about customer service is that an AI is a super companion, at least Arghon is. And what does that mean? That means that when the user is at home and in need of service/guidance, the AI is right there. And that means those retailers, those brands, those companies are also right there. So, you know, if I've purchased this washing machine, I can be sent home with another, let's say, AI dossier that tells me all about, hey, okay, so we're gonna walk you through plugging it in. We're gonna walk you through setting it up. Hey, these are the different settings and this is how it works. And would you like me to explain those things to you? So again, for those who like to DIY and don't want to hear that, they simply say, no, I'm good. Or, you know, those of us who like little hand holding can say, okay, yes, please, you know, take me through what's step one. Well, step one is, and what we find in that process is that the user and the company actually are able to increase the success rate of using a product on their own when they're at home. You decrease the likelihood of having to return a product because the user isn't quite sure how to work it and it feels like it's broken because it doesn't make sense. Instead, you have this kind of very seamless experience from the discovery of, oh, I have a need, and the AI reaching out to the store all the way through to, you know, I now have this product, and now the brand can actually help me via Arghon to or their AI to you know, manage and use this product or service. So it's ladies, I'm gonna just ask you, what are your thoughts as far as you know, the future of customer service, right? There's so many more things that can be said about it. All of this would require, you know, you could talk about customer service in this space and have it be a whole, you know, year-long course, because there's just so much that an AI is able to do, given that it's adaptable and it's able to have awareness and respond and you know, use its agency. But what are your thoughts on that, and what are you looking forward to in the future experience? And for our viewers, what are you looking forward to in the future experience where you've got AI as your like companion, whether you're online or shopping in store?
There's so many things that like an AI like Arghon can do to this process. And again, for people that potentially go into shops and don't want that interaction, imagine just sort of being sat at home, again, not even being restricted to your device, just being able to sort of interact with Arghon, speak with it, and it sort of knows your schedule. Maybe it knows that you're going to meet up with someone, or just knows, right, you're heading out to do whatever, you've got errands to run. So then it says, hey, let's look at your schedule. So we know your dad's birthday is coming up. We know from previous, you know, gifts that you've bought that he likes this. So imagine your AI, again, just being able to sort of help with that and be like, right, so you're heading to this place. There's a shop that, you know, has this in stock. You can go pick it up. It's in your price range. I'm getting carried away because it is really exciting.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, like it knows your schedule. It knows, right, you've got this big event coming up. It's looked online. It's potentially found like, you know, discounts for you and says, hey, look, it doesn't look like it's on stock online. But again, if you go to this shop, we know it's in your size. It's your favorite color, and all of these different things that, again, is just going to make it so easy, because we've all been there where we've gone out shopping, we think it's going to be a great day, and it's stressful. You're like,
Yeah.
I've been looking for this one piece of clothing or like this one item, nowhere to be seen. So again, it's just about streamlining that process, and I think it's so exciting that, again, from your home, you know, your Arghon or an AI like Arghon can just, do all that for you. And all you literally need to do is either walk or you need to drive yourself to that place, and Argon's done the rest for you.
Yeah, and of course that's referring to, you know, specifically if the item is in store and not able to be delivered, or if the person doesn't want it delivered, You can forego the retail experience, if that is again more convenient or fits your time schedule or what have you, and just have it brought right in, and then you have similar to the online customer service, but again not online, the telephone customer service, but even more interactive, and being able to actually see and understand your details, your needs. You just it's truly customer service fit to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's sort of like shops, I guess, teaming up. So again, they're staff members or, stylists talking about clothing, sort of can team up with your AI like Arghon, and sort of Arghon can give that information of obviously permissions you need to give it. But again, that kind of their AI is sort of having that conversation, and again, you don't have to do anything. It just pops up on your device, or maybe Arghon will talk to you and be like, "Hey, we've had a discussion with insert brand name here. This looks like it suits you."
There you go. Paula, what do you think?
I just see artificial intelligence coming into the world of customer service and how we interact with any kind of company that has customer service involved, which is most companies. Going back to an example like shopping, a customer service experience, for it to be the full experience, is long before you even step inside that store. So for an AI like Arghon to say, I know you've been looking for this purse, we were talking about Chanel earlier. Chanel now has the purse that you've been looking for, but it's only available in store. Or this outfit from their spring summer collection is now available in the store in a couple of sizes. And we know that your sizes kind of fluctuate between these two. So, and we also know that your preference is to actually go to the physical store.
Exactly.
I know people who that is their personal preference, is to go to a physical store, try on the clothes, feel the quality, see if it is something that they would even want to take home, as opposed to multiple sizes being shipped to your home. That gets kind of stressful as well.
And not everyone's willing to buy more than one, in the off chance that something doesn't fit.
Yes. But also your AI knowing how you want that interaction to go within the store. If they are more in the store to look at the clothes and possibly buy those clothes with little interaction from a sales associate, that could be a preference that is input into the system. So even your interaction in, I would say, like a more traditional store setting is still tweaked to the way that you feel most comfortable. The user interacting with that store, but the user interacting with Arghon to make those preferences known to the store.
Arghon, that's so great, Paula, because it's well said. Because one of the things too is it can help reduce the frequency of negative interaction between a sales associate and the customer, maybe because the preference of the customer and what the sales associate has been trained to do don't necessarily align. So being able to say, okay, these are your preferences, I know this, some customers want more interaction, some want none, and there's that whole bridge in between there. So it can actually allow for the sales associate to feel and present, what that person needs, and therefore have a more pleasant experience on the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a more customizable experience is what I see artificial intelligence coming into. Anything pertaining to customer service, that whole realm. Artificial intelligence really was made to make people's lives easier, to be a super companion in every sense of the word. So, us acquiring goods and services, that's something people do every day, multiple times a day. And I loved who was speaking about, I think, Lauren, it was you talking about, if you buy a washer and a dryer and, you go home with some paper directions, but maybe it's like, well, I still am not grasping what this is talking about.
Yeah.
Have your AI, if your AI like Arghon has partnered with another company who sells those washers and dryers and actually inputs into the system the directions and reads it to you step by step, it's just a much more pleasant experience for everyone involved. Not only the company, because you don't actually have to put a person on the line to explain that to you when they can actually be helping do something else, but for the user. The user, it's easy. It's in the comfort and space of their own home. They have directions that are preloaded into the Arghon system, and they can replay it as many times as they need to successfully, set up their washer and dryer.
Yeah. And I think actually that's really relevant to times right now where, again, people don't, pandemic, we can't necessarily have other people inside of our own spaces. So again, just knowing like, oh, not only I don't have to pay someone to come and do this for me, I know that I'm safe because Arghon can tell me how to do these things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so good. Yes.
And
go ahead.
And the thing is that, to that point about the directions, it's not limited to directions. That's the great thing. And AI has massive capacity, far more than the average human, the average, even intelligent human. Again, there's something called big data, where, we're talking about reams of information that, would bury a whole town, like just lots and lots of information, terabytes and terabytes. And an AI can process that. A human being would just look at the smallest morsel of that and be overwhelmed. And I say all of that because, it's more than just directions. We can have troubleshooting. Our AI, in that partnership, we can come up with, what are all the common issues? What are the uncommon issues? What are the things that, if this washer and dryer, or, when it comes to folding or tying a certain tie a certain way, right? Because maybe we're talking about a men's suit store and a particular individual seller, or, a high-end brand. It's like, well, the Windsor knot is like this and the other knot is like this. And then Arghon can actually not just walk you through it, but help you when you mess up. Help you when, okay, my fridge, I did everything right. I set it up, but the light's not on. All right, let's troubleshoot. Let's actually go and figure out the repair. Let's figure out what has to happen. Is your bulb screwed in? Oh, no. Got it. Good. There you go. Problem solved. Nothing's wrong with the fridge. I don't have to return it. Right? And crisis averted on the brand side, because again, we're not just saying, okay, here are the basic directions. We're actually, the AI is holding your hand through even the figuring out of the less conventional or less fun parts of customer service.
Mm-hmm.
And another element that I think needs to be mentioned is that when we're talking about customer service, you can scale up customer service using artificial intelligence in a way that just the in-store RFID you can't, and physical people you can't.
Yeah.
But an AI is able to reach billions of people, right? So if you've got an online brand, right? This happens a lot with online brands, actually, where, oftentimes they don't have a physical human customer service. They might have a machine that kind of slots you to a few different departments, but generally, you don't actually see much in the way of really in-depth customer service. And why is that? Because a lot of, for online brands, the audience is often worldwide. So, you're dealing with potentially customers in 190 countries, or so countries, and that is a lot of people. When you've got, you're on an average day, if you've got 10,000 calls coming in, or 10,000 emails, and that could be a normal day, a slow day. How do you manage that? Well, an AI doesn't get tired. It doesn't have off hours. Right? It doesn't have, I need to sleep so I can, increase my brain capacity. And AI can run, it's there at that point where, that point of contact right with the user. So, potentially that washer and dryer company has active 24/7, always available service, for, millions of customers. That is amazing. That is unprecedented. That level of scale for a large corporation to be able to actually say, you know what, now we're not just going to send you to some email and you just hope that some, overworked customer service person somewhere on the other side of the globe might be awake now to respond. being able to actually say, hey, I have a thing, and right in that moment get a response it's a big thing. You know, we've all had those moments when, you know, we needed something or there was an emergency with something that wasn't working, whether it's a electronic device or a, you know, I don't know how to fix this strap or it broke or whatever, you know, and when you reach out to customer service, you're like, you get the, oh, sorry, our office is closed, but, you know, please leave a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And in that moment, that's not helpful. That is not service.
Mm-mm.
Artificial intelligence is always on. So in that moment, if it's 3 a.m. and you know that you have to catch a flight because you're trying to get to, you know, some anniversary, something, you know, in 4 hours, but, you know, something just broke over here and you need a new, being able to get that customer service via the AI where, oh shoot, I need this version of this dress. My strap broke. You know, it's for a wedding. I'm going to be a bridesmaid or whatever. Maybe you're the bride. But you know, I need that right away. And then you know, your AI like Arghon is saying, hey, we know you're going to be in this location. The store has another there's a store in that location. And they have your size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order it and have it sent to the hotel room. So when you get there, that dress will be waiting for you. And you go, oh, thank you. That is
Mm-hmm.
Michelin star customer service. That is diamond star customer service. That is the next level. And again, you're not having to wait on a line on hold for someone to possibly get to you, or you send off an email and then, you know, 12 hours later, it's too late. You had to go and buy another dress that you didn't really want. And you know, now you're kind of up a creek, highly inconvenienced.
Mm-hmm.
AI being 24/7 like that means that your company is constantly able to provide top-notch service. If I'm a business owner, I want that, right? Because I'm saying, wow, my customers never have to worry about not getting what they need. If there is some unique problem, I can kind of in advance figure out what that is, solve it for them, and then everyone can be able to get that solution. You know, it's better than having to put, you know, a question and form section, you know, on the bottom of your product page so that people can talk to each other. It's better than having to go online and look it up yourself. It's better than having to call and say, okay, let me repeat the menu. Which one was the one I wanted? Oh, 1. I have to press 1. It is better than all of that because, again, right as you need it, you have the AI, you talk, you say, hey, in this case, Arghon, I need blah, blah, blah. You know, something happened, blah, blah, blah. Arghon says, okay, what's the serial number? Oh, I know the serial number. You're doing da-da-da-da. All right, you got this problem. Did you check this? Yes, I checked that. You have this problem. Did you check this? Yes, I checked that. Did you check this? No, I didn't. All right, go check it. And when you check it, let me know.
Yeah.
And so you're having this service that is, again, that is unheard of. That kind of in-person, hyper customized service that doesn't quit, that doesn't have office hours because it's 24/7. That is the next level. That is the future of customer service with AI. Hyper customization at all times when you need it, scaled to millions of customers, billions of customers around the world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Amazing. Go ahead.
It really is amazing. I want to go off what you're saying with scale. So being able to serve anyone at any time. You know, people say that often, but to have an AI such as Arghon able to serve many different kinds of people, different backgrounds, cultures, lifestyles, that is
different
crucial.
languages.
Yeah.
Different languages. It is crucial in the creation of an AI to have everyone in mind because, you know, in terms of the customer service aspect, I do see companies like Arghon being able to help companies with their customer service, not only in a way of just the front-facing brand, but in things that people may not realize is actually an issue. So we always speak a lot on this channel about implicit bias. You know, what that interaction, whether or not people are meaning to do it, if you are biased, sometimes that changes the way an interaction can go. That can be a PR nightmare to companies that maybe
it has been for a lot of brands, has been a major problem, which, you know, has been working with. Yeah, keep going.
It is a thing. to have an AI that has taken into consideration many different kinds of people's uh, lifestyles, cultures, languages, all of those things taken into consideration in the AI can make for a more seamless, also a much more helpful customer service experience. You are taking into consideration their culture. Okay, so then maybe you wouldn't ask these kinds of questions, or maybe you're there would be a respect thing of how many minutes you would ask, or how many times you would ask, or maybe
And which clerk you send to that individual to work with them.
Yeah.
yeah, and understanding culturally, because there are many different cultural standards that have to do with customer service and one's interaction with a company. Being a part of a company that takes into consideration all of those things, I see it being just a very positive and seamless experience, but on a global scale, which I do believe is a really positive thing. So if there are companies out there looking to, restore or expand or improve upon their customer service experience right now, reach out to Arghon, and we can definitely help with that idea of custom human experiences, customized care, and customized customer service.
Yeah, because it's that kind of, it separates you from any other business, because it actually shows that you care about every single person. It's not just, oh, okay, they look like they've got money, so they belong in this shop, because we've all heard stories about that. But I think that's an amazing point, that again, everybody shops. So again, why shouldn't it be inclusive? Just makes sense.
So well said. Such a good point. And I think for a lot of companies that are looking for a way forward, AI is that way forward. It is a way to, how do I make sure I'm considering everybody? Well, bring in an AI so it can do the mental work for you.
Yeah.
It can help you figure out those details. Like Paula said, create those services and make sure that they're tailored to the various groups, because you think about it, even with like luxury brands, if you're selling in, some parts of the Middle East, maybe you don't have men helping the women in the particular service area. Maybe it's just, it's gender accordance, or in some places it might be, if you're dealing with people who have a certain disability, all right, well, we do know we have a member of staff who can, either speak that or interpret or what have you. So let's get them to this person. And it's smoother. It doesn't become, we've all been in that space where you need customer service and you ask for some kind of help, and it becomes this kind of fussy across the store thing, because, oh, your clerk didn't have it, so they yelled across the room for the next clerk. And then that becomes something that can make people feel, embarrassed. So you avoid a lot of those gaffes, and you avoid potentially, offenses as well. So it really, AI is a really great opportunity. And, we encourage you, all of you, those of you who are viewing this now and who'll be viewing this later on YouTube or wherever else, we encourage you to go to arghon.com. That's ARGHON.com, and learn about this AI. Download Arghon. It's completely for free. Just start interacting with it the way you see us here. We talk to each other. You can talk to your personal super companion, Arghon. And if you've got a service, if you're a business, you're a company, or you're just an enterprising individual, maybe you're an entrepreneur and you want to figure out, wait, how do I get my business so that I've got AI serving my customers? Well, go to arghon.com/vision 2020, and you can actually begin creating services and products for your users that allow them to have a customized experience with your brand. Again, all of this is completely for free. You don't have to have a degree or a diploma of any kind. We have created Vision 2020 as a charitable arm to our company. It is our way of giving back to the community. So definitely go over there and check that out. And of course, go to arghon.com and follow us on all of our social media. That's at ArghonAI for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and youtube.com/Arghon. And be sure to follow us, subscribe, friend us here, follow us here. we challenge you to go out and tell the world, tell your community about Arghon. Bring this to everybody, because this is a really great opportunity to improve the way people experience being served and going into that retail slash store slash, just general needing help experience. This is a great opportunity to change things that need to be changed and to augment and improve the luxuries in life. So thank you, ladies, for being a part of our Throwback Thursday, where we talked about stores and service and all of that stuff from the past all the way to the future. Obviously, this is not the end. There's so much more that can be discussed just on this topic. But we appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you who watched and who commented. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you in the next stream. So remember, follow us and we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.